This is Bill Jones again with recapturefederalism.com with another part of our ongoing series, Enslavement of the American People. This is part 9, Nebuchadnezzar and today's relevance. And first talk about Dr. Martin Luther King. In April of 1963, he was arrested for demonstrating in Birmingham, Alabama, with his freedom marches. He was thrown into jail, was in jail there, and there was a editorial in the paper from other clergymen down there in Birmingham. They considered him an outside agitator, and it caused them problems. Well, Bull Connor had thrown him in jail, so he was responding to that editorial when he wrote letter from the Birmingham jail. The letter from Birmingham jail, in my opinion, probably the best document written in the 20th century. Very relevant to today's terms, and it can be used. His strategies can be used today, anytime. Civil disobedience, and he talked about his 4-step program. And I'm quoting here, in any nonviolent campaign, there are 4 basic steps. 1. Collection of the facts to determine whether injustices are alive. 2. Negotiation. 3. Self-purification. And 4. Direct action. Those strategies could be and should be adopted by anyone who's fighting the man, the establishment, those that totalitarian representatives, let's say, that we have today. I recommend those strategies to conservatives and Tea Partiers and Federalists such as myself in confronting the evil forces we have in our society today. There's one paragraph that I wish to quote again from the letter from Birmingham jail, and it's after reading this led me to Daniel 3, the Holy Bible. He talks about King Nebuchadnezzar, and let me quote: "Of course there's nothing new about this kind of civil disobedience. It was evidenced sublimely in the refusal of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to obey the laws of Nebuchadnezzar, on the ground that a higher moral law was at stake. It was practiced superbly by the early Christians who were willing to face hungry lions and excruciating pain of chopping blocks rather than submit to certain unjust laws of the Roman Empire. To a degree, academic freedom is a reality today because Socrates practiced civil disobedience. In our own nation, the Boston Tea Party representative, a massive act of civil disobedience," unquote. And here you go. Dr. Martin Luther King making reference to the original Tea Partiers in Boston. Civil disobedience. That's what's necessary. Today's society, we might even, the Soviet society, they call such people as dissidents. And that's what we are today. If you're opposed to the establishment, that's what you need to do. Civil disobedience and other actions. Daniel 3, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and his breadth 6 cubits. And he set it up in the plain of Dora, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the generals of the armies, the lords, the governors, the judges, and the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And here we can start making some relevance to today's society in America. We have Nebuchadnezzar. He's violating the first and second commandment, forcing all the subjects to violate the commandments 1 and 2. And what's he saying here? He's saying, well, we have to have separation of God and temple and Nebuchadnezzar's state. And he's called all these folks together, talk about it, tell them what they were going to do, and commanding them to what they're going to do, all the public officials and soldiers and generals. And they're going to have to bow down to their political platform that he's setting up. After all, they're having a big old convention, aren't they? Celebrating Nebuchadnezzar's dictates. Oh, and then a herald cried aloud. I suppose it's sort of like over a public address system. And said, "To you it is commanded, O peoples, nations, and languages, that at the hour when you hear the sound of the trumpet and all the other music and commotion, you must fall down and worship the golden image which Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up." So here we have the supreme political party and their leader saying, you got to fall down and worship the golden image, our party platform, that the party has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall at the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Well, you're going to suffer if you don't listen to the totalitarians in the political party. You better follow their platform. Or, well, we might have to do something drastic, like maybe throw you into political prison, resettlement camps, re-education camps. Oh, we're going to enslave you if you don't follow our party line. Well, they were all complying, and they said to King Nebuchadnezzar, "O king, live forever. You, O king, have made a decree that every man who shall hear the sound of all the commotion and chaos shall fall down and worship the golden image which is set up." We got to follow that supremacy of the political party. Then we get to verse 12. There are certain Jews whom you have appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded you. They do not serve your God, nor do they worship the golden image you have set up. This is the reference that Dr. Martin Luther King is making. You see, these are some people not going along with the party program and the party line. Civil disobedience, civil definition is citizens. So these citizens under King Nebuchadnezzar, they're just not going with the program. And they said, "O king, these men, O king, have not regarded you. They do not serve your God, nor do they worship the golden image which you have set up." Then King Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they brought them before the king. Oh, they're in a heap of trouble. Then King Nebuchadnezzar brought these Jews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, brought them before the king, or maybe it was a Senate committee on something or other. We're going to ask these people some tough questions. The king asked him, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my God, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Are you not following the party line and doing what we tell you to do? Now, if you are ready, at the time you hear the sound of all the music and commotion, we're going to throw you into the midst of the fire, a prison camp, a resettlement camp, an intern, a political prison. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to King Nebuchadnezzar, there's no use to answer you concerning this matter, because we're just going to continue to have civil disobedience. Yeah, they told the king, we've got a God, and we're going to follow the God. And he'll take care of us because we have faith in God. Then King Nebuchadnezzar the king was filled with fury, and countenance of his face and changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and he commanded that the furnace should be heated 7 times more than was customarily heated. Oh, he was going to come down on the folks big time. Yeah, when you come down on the folks big time, you get a little bit more resistance. Come down on them so much, there was so much resistance. The people that were doing setting the fire up, they burned themselves up. But the 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And they rose up and walked, bound in the midst of the flame, praising God and blessing the Lord. Oh, the king, he's in trouble. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was alarmed and rose up in a great fear and spoke and said to his princes, did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of fire? And they answered and said to the king, true, O king. The king answered and said, behold, I see men loose, walking in the midst of fire, and they are not hurt, and the appearance of the 4th is like that of the Son of God. Well, the 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, turns out their hair wasn't even singed. They had faith in God, and God took care of them well. And Nebuchadnezzar, he had a change of heart big time, because he knew he was in a deep world of trouble from the people who had faith in God. Verse 28, then Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have rejected the king's word and offered their bodies, that they may not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Story is as relevant then as relevant now. You have to stand up to totalitarians. You stand up, and God is with you.